Hello, we're thrilled to have Colleen Quinn with us today, a true creative powerhouse whose work blends fashion, art, and a deep connection to nature. Starting with a background in computer science, Colleen brings a unique mix of tech and creativity to her couture designs, which are all about style with soul. But Colleen's art doesn't stop with fashion. She describes her painting style like calligraphy, where each stroke has a meaning, and through her practice of Qigong and Taoist philosophy, her work really embodies her energy and spirit. Her vibrant watercolors, full of flowers, butterflies, and leaves, capture the beauty of nature and are all about spreading joy and gratitude. Today, we're diving into her creative journey from fashion to fine art and the insights that she can share for up and coming artists and designers. Please welcome the amazing Colleen Quinn. Welcome, Colleen.
Hi, Leanne. Yeah, okay, your introduction is so heartwarming that do I really need to talk anymore? Thank you so much for the beautiful introduction and
Oh,
being here with you.
well, this is going to be such a wonderful conversation because you're sort of a Renaissance woman. You've done so many different things, and it's so interesting to see how you blend them all beautifully together.
That's true. I feel that this evolution of just living life every day and going through the stages of our life, that it's important to reflect what you've learned and also to go forward in the present and mix it together. I think it's like a reunion of the loves and the passions that you have and honoring it.
Let's talk about your early influences. And can you talk about how your mother's influence as an art teacher and how your experiences in art and fabric shaped your passion for fashion design?
Yes, my mother, Mary Quinn, I felt she was always an artist. I've never really not known her in any way but my teacher and my mother, and almost like a sister to me too. She was everything in my life in the beginning as well. She taught me how to design and to sew and to paint and to do embroidery and everything whatever I wanted to learn, she was there to promote that, as well as my father. But really was like my partner in crime, and she really listened to my soul, and I thought that was such. As I got older, I just felt like I was very fortunate to have her as a mother, to be able to nurture that I guess she really wanted to bring out my own authenticity. And I know that she probably didn't have that opportunity when she was younger. So she gave it all to me. And for me to be able to be offered that, I also wanted to do as much with her so that we can both do it together. So it was a very duo mother-daughter kind of artful way of living together ever since I was young till about teenager, till about college time.
Oh, beautiful. Can you tell me a little bit about how your Chinese heritage and your family history influenced your design philosophy and the way you approach your work in couture?
Chinese culture, I'm like fourth generation, and if you understand that, that means that my parents' generation, of course, they were trying to be American-born Chinese here in Oakland, and but their parents were immigrants, or they were born here and trying to survive. So a lot of the past was very quiet, and I didn't really know much about my Chinese culture. But then again, everyone would say, "Wow, you look very Chinese." So you have this traditional look, and also, Colleen, you are Americanized, but yet you still have these Chinese American values, which means family, community. Oh, just caring for each other, being together. Um, it's all about family, food, and I feel that's what our Chinese culture is in some ways. And also it's about just being a good person, right? And as I was studying Taoism when I was older, but not knowing, I feel my family roots were also bringing these values of Taoism and about, being peaceful and finding balance, between the yin and the yang, and also being in touch with nature and being with just being kind and respectful to your elders as well as your siblings and your friends. And it's all about the community and village. It's all about my four generations of family get togethers all the time. It's like we would have family get togethers. There would be five generations together all the time with my grandmother from my father's side and also my mother's side.
That sounds like so much fun and so much learning.
Yeah, it's almost because, the school I went to was American. But then when I went back home, it was nice. It was like my Chinese community was there, which was my family and the roots, the lineage.
Now, you mentioned you were surrounded by a community and Mother Nature, particularly in the butterflies and other natural forms that you've used. Yeah, I'd love your butterfly dress. How would you say these elements manifest in your designs, and what do they symbolize for you?
So the butterfly has always gravitated to me ever since I was young, and I used to collect butterflies. I used to have a butterfly farm, just nurturing them from cocoon to caterpillar. So I've always had a fascination with butterflies. And also the butterfly represents, in our Chinese culture, longevity, fertility, or it's also about awakenings, new awakenings. And as I got older, I was going, well, I feel that I would love to kind of represent more of this kind of butterfly, and also in my Taoist name, I'm called Heavenly Butterfly, which means I flutter around and play, but also in beauty, and I bring beauty, right? So I feel like I'm kind of like this lightness, ethereal artist, which keeps on evolving and awakening and changing, and just always yeah, always being in the moment. So butterflies and anything beautiful. I mean, birds too. I love birds and butterflies that have wings. I feel they're just such a part of heaven. To have wings to fly up in the air, that's so magical. And if you think of it in that way, um, that they inspire me. It's just magical.
Oh, that's beautiful. Now, well, let's talk about your design background. Many young designers struggle with balancing trends and authenticity. How do you maintain your unique style in a constantly evolving industry?
Yes. So I got my degree in fashion design and also French couture. Um, and after that, I decided, and I worked for many different companies, big companies. I really loved it, but I felt there was something about the mass production that I didn't feel very I wanted to do something further, so that's why I studied couture. And couture is all about made to measure and making each piece for each person that I meet. And I felt that was my pathway in design. And what that means is too is when you're a couturier, you are a visionary. You are the one that creates the trends, and it's not even a trend, it's just more of a message that you want to give to the planet. And so I feel I'm more of a visionary designer, and I love to listen to my inner spirit, and my inner soul and my innate soul, because as a designer, we're very sensitive to the world outside. We can feel the energy, it could be from politics to, whatever that's happening around us. We sense everything because that's our kind of nature. That's the way we feel. We feel human beings. So from there, I feel that my job as a designer is not to make things sell like mass production, which I mean, of course I would love to, but my job is to be able to give messages poetically through my designs. It could be like, oh, my gesture is about compassion and about helping the world. Well, my designs will reflect that energy. And so there is kind of a responsibility in my part that I don't just create to create, I create to bring joy and beauty to the planet. It's almost like my prayer. but I create it through my fashion and then people will wear it.
Oh, that's a great explanation. What skills and disciplines do you believe are critical as a fashion designer to develop early in their career?
I feel that wanting to be a fashion designer is wanting to express the way that you wear your clothes. Also, there are signs because if you really love color, we have the whole dynamic, like dimensions of colors. And if you love fabric too. We have so many components we have to play with. Just as a composer would write a song, and we need our notes and our dimensions and colors. It's the same thing with a fashion designer. If you love fabrics, if you love colors, if you love the shape of the body and how it kind of moves and how it'll bring out some kind of energy. Um, there's so many facets of being a fashion designer that can go very spiritual and also extremely beautiful and aesthetic and just dramatic. So there's many ways, but it's kind of like your voice. I feel that if you want to be a designer, it's almost like your words, but it's through your clothing and it's your messages through that. So when you are a designer, you can express it through fashion, through sculpture, and yeah, it's just so beautiful because our body that I have to create from is like our mini universe. We walk around in it and it's very sacred. So for me to be able to be gifted to create something for someone else and to kind of read through them and to decide on colors for them and to make them feel even more stronger and more empowering and beautiful, I feel that that is such a beautiful offering that we can give to someone. And if you have that natural innate feeling, I feel that that could be possibly what you may want to pursue as a fashion designer.
I really appreciate how you approach things by honoring ourselves, our bodies, and our soul. That's fabulous. Thank you. I listened to a number of your interviews and you've done in the past, and you've talked about the importance of making mistakes. Could you share a pivotal mistake that you might have made and how that contributed to your growth as a designer?
Um, I just know too, when we say mistakes, they're actually really great lessons because with my mistakes is when I grow. And my parents always told me that too. It's like, "Oh, Colleen, so you've made a mistake, but that means that you've grown and you've learned from it, and everyone has to make those mistakes in order to grow and to be even better, a better person." So, I would probably say, let's see, what would be a mistake of mine? Well, one time um, I usually don't design through sadness, okay? But there was a critical time in my life where I was very sad and I had to get through the process of it. And usually I never put my energies into that way. But I did kind of give it in a way that it was a sadness, but, and that became the mistake, I'm saying. But for some reason, after I created this dress, the colors and the shape and the process I went through to mourn and grieve became the most beautiful and design that even now people still recognize. And I never really fully told the story of how I got there, but people resonate with it in a way that they smile because of the colors and the fabrics I chose and how I kind of metamorphosed myself and transformed and healed myself after. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. It sounds a little bit like the movie For Water Like Chocolate.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That is true.
Oh.
I agree.
Absolutely beautiful. Wow. One thing, Colleen, when I've talked to you before, I was just so impressed with your time management. I think that was the point when you were designing 90 pieces a year while managing every part of your
And
business.
plus be married. Get it all in.
Wow. So, how do you organize your day to day job and work? What advice would you give to young designers in managing their time effectively while learning the craft?
I do want to share that be careful what you think and what you dream because it does come true. So whenever I dream and I wish for things, they do come true, and 10 things can happen all at once. And you're going, oh, and then you go, okay, I'm going to do it because you know what? Life is super short. I want to do it and I'm going to do my best in it. I'm only human, but I'm going to do it. So then I take those 10 items, I look at my calendar and I'll say, I only have a month to do this. How many days do I have? I have 30 days. And this has to do with calculations, right? Because, I do calculations in my designs all the time. So I think this kind of helps me manage my time all the time. So I will manage the day I wake up in the morning and then how many hours of sleep I get. I break it down 24 hours pretty much and what I'm going to do, and I break down every task for the whole month until I get everything done. And that's juggling everything. So that's why people will go, Colleen, can I go out with you? And before I go, well, yeah, maybe 4 months. And they started laughing and they go, what? I go, yeah, in 4 months from now, because I've got all these deadlines. I can't meet my deadlines and my clients if I don't, do this. So I have to do this. This is my duty. This is my work. This is what I love to do. And I have clients. So I am super organized and disciplined because of being an ice skater and, going to college, getting a degree. Like I'm used to maneuvering things ever since I was young, actually. Because I would be playing piano and then doing my art and design with my mom and then doing something athletic. Like I was a little bit of everything. I had my hands on everything, but I did everything very good. So, yeah, I would manage everything every day. Like even today, I broke it down. I woke up at 6 a.m. I need 2 hours for some tea. I need a little relaxation time. Then I'm going to rest, and then I have my student coming for 2 hours. And then I get to rest a little bit. Then I have a luncheon I need to be at. I need to have a meeting there. And I always make my time because I know I need to rest in between this time or else I'm burnt out. But that's from time getting to know yourself and where your limits and boundaries are. And as I'm older now, it is much more sensitive. Like I need a lot more sleep, right? So it's all about knowing yourself because you cannot do anything productive without knowing yourself. You can't just be throwing things in, I'm going to do this. You have to be organized. That's being respectful for yourself and your time as well as your clients and making your deadlines. Is that crazy?
Oh, those are wise words. Thank you so much. You talked about your mom and your dad as support systems, and it's wonderful because they are really a beautiful blend of skills and support. How can parents today best support their kids who want to pursue a career in fashion design, especially when it comes to the demands and challenges of the industry?
So, as parents, if I've noticed, because I have to be honest, it usually already shows up when they're very young. Mostly every time I've noticed, not only in fashion design, it could be in music, singing, it could be anything in the arts, whatever you love. It's already in you when you're young. And so they noticed, like, if you noticed your daughter or son is starting to draw human beings and looking at fashion or drawing fashion. I had the little Barbie fashion thing and then I was drawing the fashion all the time. Like if you see them being intrigued by fabrics and colors and then they're drawing human like clothes, that's already a sign. And also if you see them and they want to sew, give them the chance because the younger ones are not, they don't have home ec anymore. So I used to be able to learn how to sew when I was like, you know well, I sewed with my mother, but there were classes when I was like 12 years old and I was learning how to sew an apron. Like, no one, the young ones don't understand how to use the hands and sewing. So, if they want to sew, because it's so cool, you can make so many things and be productive, but it's about sewing, it's about everything, it's about hands on. I think it's really important as parents is to nurture that. And that should be a sideline thing if it's not in the curriculum in schools now. I think cooking and everything is working together with the hands. It's like composing things and feeling comfortable using your hands. I had to learn how to cut with the fabric. Like it's all these things. It's kind of like being an athlete, but through your hands. And right now it's not as progressive. I feel that they've stopped that And that's why I love teaching young ones how to sew too, because I started at a very young age. And it's all about coordination. And then from there, that's already their school. If you can give them that kind of nurturing, if you see that in them, they will know whether they want to pursue it again even further or not by the time they get to high school. They will, because I really wanted to actually go into design school, but then my parents wanted me to get a degree in computer science or business or something just for the safety. So I did that. But I already knew I wanted to go into design
Interesting.
because I teach younger students now, and they don't even know how to use their hands at all.
Mhm.
There's no coordination.
Interesting. Oh.
Very important, the younger age start so they feel comfortable jumping
Mhm.
into it, even instruments so that they can move their fingers and learn the notes and the beat, and that I play piano, like it's all
Mm.
about everything.
And let's talk a little bit about balancing passion and practicality. Fashion can be a tough and competitive field. So, how can parents help their child find the balance between their passion while maintaining stability in their lives?
About balance is so important for young kids because like nowadays it's all about there's nothing really practical. It's more, what do you like? What do you like? Like Instagram, da 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 da. Everything's in front of them, right? And I feel that being practical is such good life experiences that they need to learn, which may be doing sports and because sports kind of teach you how to be competitive to yourself as well as others, but and also to win and lose. And you need to learn how to do both because in life it's that way. It's about winning and losing and being humble about it, right? It's all about emotions and knowing how to control your emotions. Um, that will help you make decisions in life too. It's not about, oh, I'm always winning. I always have to win. So I think there's that humanity that needs to be connected, that should be shown in children so that they're not always going to be liked. They're liked, but they're not liked. But I think the media makes it so much like, I got to be liked. Do you know? It's like it's so much pressure when that doesn't even need to be in the vocabulary of their thinking. They should be living in the world and living and working with kids and being team players, team spirit. Because when you get out to the world, you need that practical feeling. You can't just be isolated and say, I'm the best. We need to work together as a team when we're older, too. So, all those skills, these human skills, are so important to keep them balanced and not so high up the pedestal yet. No. I mean, of course, they'll have their passions, but they also need to win and lose at the same time and feel good about it.
Oh, that's beautiful. I really appreciate you talking about how this resilience helped you develop by understanding the win and the loss and understanding how to go through the process, as well as the dedication you need to keep on going, even though you might lose. You kept on going and pursuing that next step. Thank you so much. Looking at this like a very multi-dimensional situation.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, because, right? Don't we go through this even as we're older? But I learned, you learn every time, doesn't it? When something bad or sad might happen to you, but then you know how to recover from it. That's so important, is to learn to recover from it. Whether you go to your art, I go to my art to rescue me. I go to my community or dear friends. But if you don't know how to do those outlets, that's really hard on a person, and that's when the depression will come. So if we can teach them really early about how to seek for the good and the sad and how to deal with those processes would really help them going forward as a human being living in this very complex world.
Mm. Oh, thank you, Colleen.
I'm
Okay.
not even a parent, so I don't know, but I'm a parent to myself.
Yes, and to your many, many students and all the books you influence. Can you talk about the misconceptions about being a couture designer or artist? Because even looking at the pieces behind you, actually, can you explain what's behind you as well?
I think it's called Ode Magazine, and they were honoring me as one of the haute couture designers here in San Francisco. And I was super honored because usually it's my models that are on the cover, but it's like, what? That's me.
Oh,
Oh,
beautiful.
the empress coat. So, of course, it's the emperor's coat, but I wanted to make the empress coat. And of course, this was a coat that I created also for a client of mine for the opening of the opera. And that was really beautiful. Patricia Sprinson wore this piece. Opening night, she owns that. But this is the prototype of mine, and I'm wearing this piece. But my pieces are like longevity. So this one is about 30 years old. So a lot of my designs are from 25 years old, 18 years old to 30. It has this kind of timeless design. And I feel in some ways that's being a good designer is that to make designs that are timeless, but yet so elegant and beautiful, but you can still pull them out like it's a piece of jewelry. Like you're not going to be throwing away a beautiful diamond necklace and just going, oh, that's not the trend anymore. No, if you can be a designer that can create pieces where they pull them out and they're still treasures and you can, wear them, not all the time, but when, special occasions, but it's not like, oh, it's out of trend. I can't wear it anymore. I do not believe in that. And that is somehow I feel sometimes there's this false thing about haute couture is that, oh, you can only wear it once. But actually, it's all about longevity. We are taught to design so that our pieces will be forever. They're almost like heirlooms. So the silk will last forever because it's the way I sewed it. It's the way I layered everything. It's the way you take care of your clothes. You honor your clothes. You don't just throw them all over the place and you protect them from the sunlight and et cetera, and you clean them or you don't so it's all about the art of dressing and the art of taking care of your pieces for a long time.
Beautiful. And I believe there's a dress form behind you.
So this is my beautiful dress form. I started fashion design at FIDM 1985 and graduated 1986 because I already had my degree, so I just needed to go through the advanced program. But this was my first dress format, and it was made in New York. And this was already like $1,000. And that was 1986.
Oh, my word.
Made. This is the body shape of me. I'm not like that anymore, unfortunately, but I can look at it. Um, this has longevity because it's like my baby. She's been with me. I created so many gowns. Like I'm sure at least, not 1,000 gowns at least.
Mm.
My fabric
Mhm.
scissors have been with me like about the same time. So I think it's all about longevity and taking care of the pieces and the possessions that you own, that you love and you create with. That's so special.
Oh, Colleen, and is a piece on that wall, is that your art?
Yeah, that's my artwork. Yeah, all this stuff is yeah. So I have all my paintings here. And
Oh,
so I have everything surrounding me. And that's when I did 350 paintings in 1 year. And then I said, "Hey, I want to do an art show." And this was after my breast cancer, survival thing. And then because I had to kind of stop my business and rest. And then I said, "What am I going to do now?" And I said, "I guess I'm going to be a Chinese watercolor painter." And then because I was so sad and bored and wasn't designing, that I painted 350 paintings. And then I said, "Oh, I'll just make an art show and, I'll frame them, 50 of them." I have 1,000 paintings at least now. I mean, and I haven't really sold many because I don't know. I just love making. It's just more of a personal journey.
they're absolutely beautiful.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. Really,
Really?
they helped me. Like they're all like my little characters. She helped me get through it all. All my little favorite paintings.
Oh,
They made me happy again.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, so then they're always with me and they protect me.
Well said. Oh, yes, surround yourself with beauty and they will feed you.
Yeah, because it's on my energy, right? So whatever you give is still remains in there, this chi energy.
That's beautiful. I think there was a question I originally asked that maybe we can go back to. What are the things that people might misinterpret about being a fashion designer?
Oh, I think many people misinterpret it as like, oh, it's so fast paced. It's always so, it's just so fun. And it's like, what do they really work? Or, what's like, what? How come they're, I don't know. I just feel like some people, it's a mystery what fashion design is, but literally, it is not, it's a lot of hard work. Do you know? And we almost have to be like a chameleon because half the time, if you saw me an hour ago, I wasn't looking like this. Because I was like, I just finished like a meeting and then I was like in a serious position. Like I'd be wearing different hats all the time, like five different hats. So because I have to manage everything, right? So the illusion of a fashion designer having this glamorous life, it's only glamorous when we do the fashion show. And that's so much work. Like I have to plan, my fashion show has to be planned 3 months ahead. I have 50 people on my team. I have makeup, I have hair. I have the choreographer, I have the fashion director, I have the lighting people. It's like a real show. And, this could cost like 20, 30,000, for something like that. Like everything is expensive too. Like it is such a business. It's a serious business and we really do gamble a lot of money. And plus then we make the gowns, right? And the gowns cost maybe, for me to make, it would be like, 3 to 5,000 and then I have to sell it for 15,000. Right. So so then I'm investing like 50,000 on one collection or something. So everyone thinks it's such a, but it's a lot of investment. And then you have to gamble and believe in what you perceive, what you want to sell. And then you have to be really strong at marketing it. And you have to really believe it, or why are you doing this? You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a really a it's a very interesting, but it's so when people think it's very glamorous, I really it may be because I we need to look presentable and we need to sell our work and we have an image, but backstage we are working day and night just to make it happen.
Yeah. And you have to be incredibly organized, professional, and smart for all of this.
And yet also just have the drive to love it all the time, right? But I do because there's always, I don't know, there's always some kind of issue or problems, but I kind of like it. Like it makes life super full. And I love problem solving and helping others or helping, make the solution happen. And so there's always a solution though. And in fashion design, I know for a fact is that you always have to think way ahead, which I do. We usually design like a year or 2 years ahead. Sometimes it could be 10 years ahead. But the way that we think very far ahead already, not at the present moment where everyone is. We're always thinking way ahead of it. It's kind of like in our brain already. And we always have to find solutions. If it's not solution A, then we need B. Oh, the zipper just broke. She's walking down the runway. Let's just sew it up right now. Let's get the needle and thread. Oh, my model just dropped out of my fashion show. Okay, so you're going to have to be wearing these two dresses and my dressers have to dress them. I have like three dressers, trying to put the gown on and they have to wear gloves. Like, everything is so carefully, mindfully taken care of. And yet it seems so easy and effortless, but it really takes a lot of preparation. And my team have to be in sync. We all want to have to do this. And we only have 20 minutes to do the show because any longer people get bored.
20 minutes.
So,
Amazing. Wow. Thank you.
and choose the music that goes with it
Mhm.
to look a certain look that you want. But it's like costumes almost, it's like, and then it's the message, right? And how can I draw them in so that they would want to purchase it? So it's just so many factors. It's really exciting. I mean, it is exciting. It's a lot of work though.
Absolutely. You're an educator, you're a designer. What legacy do you hope to leave behind for the next generation of designers? And how do you hope your teachings will impact their approach to fashion?
Mm. I Because I've already raised a few of them and they're already launched off, and some of them are showing in Paris, or they are in Paris already showing. That is my wish because I always wanted to show my work in Paris too. And I've had the opportunity, which was really lovely. But for them to flourish, and if I can give them the skills, which is so true though, I'm teaching them everything that I've learned all my life, my business experience as well as my couture work, so they have the background where they can do anything and everything. And if they ever need help, I'm always here for them to help them through it. But they're very independent, and I'm so proud of them that they try to problem solve. So again, my thing is to train them so that they're so independent that they could problem solve, just in case if I'm not there, that they can go on and just fly. And that is my dream always for each of my students.
Beautiful. So we've reached the time where we need to close on this interview. But if there was one piece of advice you'd give to young designers starting out, what would that be?
My advice for any person that would love to be a fashion designer is to be it, to get your hands on sewing, fabric, making patterns, really understanding the art of fashion design, taking all the courses that you can, and then also take some business courses, right? Because this is a business. But I promise you, it is never boring because there's always something to grow from. And if you are the type of spirit that has this, you have this strong spirit, you will make it in the fashion design world because it always provides you with such beauty and color and challenges. And you can always change something into something beautiful. You can make something from nothing into something beautiful, and then people are wearing it. And that is such a gift that we are given. If you want to be a designer, it is such an honor to be a designer if you want to do that.
Colleen, thank you so much for such a wonderful conversation. This has been so enriching, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.